Dating as a single mama is like stepping into a whole new world. Part excitement, part nerves, a whole lot of, Lord, please don't let me waste my time again. Do you know your non-negotiables, or are you still trying to figure them out? If you had the chance right now, would you play it safe and stay single, or would you take the risk of opening your heart again? This is exactly what we'll be diving into today's episode of Badass Mama Moves. Stay tuned. Hey, mamas, welcome back to another episode of Badass Mama Moves. I'm so glad that you are here with me today because, listen, today's topic, listen. I know some of y'all are already giving me the side eye, like, girl, we're really going there. And the answer is yes, we are, because it's one thing to talk about budgeting and breaking cycles and raising kids and whatnot, but dating as a single mama, that's a whole different chapter in this journey, right? And now I don't know about you, but when I first thought about dating again, I was like, no, thank you. My brain went straight to, do I even remember how to date? And is this for real? Like for me, like right now, just the thought of it, it just gives me chills because I don't even know if I'll know how to act. Funny, but not. And this is just reality. I don't even think I will know how to act in a dating scenario or whatnot. It's just like crazy. That's how long it's been. So like, do I even have time today? Like, I'm so used to my routine, my business, my part-time job, motherhood. I barely have time for me, sadly, but true, right? And right now, that makes me think like, do I really have time? It's not like the old days when you just got cute and went out and so what happened? No, 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 no. Now it's the babysitters or whoever have, little kids. We have schedules, we have curfews, and let's not forget the little FBI agent living in your house. Y'all know what I mean, right? Kids have that radar, for everything. They see everything and they notice, and we think they don't, but they do, right? They have that little FBI radar thing. In my case, my son is already on alert because he hears me talking about my dear future husband and that I'm ready to date and this and that. And he gets so serious. And he straight up told me one day, like more than once actually, Mommy, whenever somebody new comes around, I need to have a sit down with him. Like, sir, what? Like, who's the parent here? You're not my HR. But that's where we are, right? Our kids are protective. They've seen us hurt. They lived through with us, and they want to make sure we are safe. And honestly, I respect it, even though it makes dating way more complicated than what it really is and what it should be. I love knowing he's got my back. And mamas, listen, that's why this conversation is so important because dating as a single mama isn't just about us. It's about healing, from the past, learning to trust again, setting those healthy boundaries, and making sure our kids feel secure through it all, through the whole process. It's not easy, right? And especially nowadays when a lot of men out here are just looking for a side piece or they just want some fun without the commitment. And I'm not, saying that every man is like that because it's not. I understand that and I know that. There are good men out there who want something real, who are ready for partnership and commitment and grow old with someone. But sometimes it feels like you gotta kiss 10 frogs before you even find that a glimpse of that prince that you're looking for. And some days it feels exciting, it feels fresh, like a fresh start. Other days feels really scary, like, what if I went wrong, get it wrong again? But here's the thing, we deserve love. We deserve partnership. We deserve joy. We deserve our person. Being a mama doesn't mean we stop being a woman. It doesn't mean our love story is over just because the last chapter was messy. So today we're going there. Yes, we are. We're going to talk about starting over, embracing change, setting boundaries that actually protect our peace, introducing our kids to someone new, and yes, finding ways to have some fun with it too. Why not? It's supposed to be like a painful thing. Let's just have fun with it too, because this whole thing doesn't have to be heavy and stressful. Dating should be exciting, even when it's complicated, right? I would love to feel those little butterflies in my stomach again. Like, oh my God, how long it's been? Very long. So sit back and relax because today is not just about dating, it's about opening ourselves up to love again. It's about reminding ourselves that we still deserve to love and be loved as unapologetically the badass mamas that we are, of course. Take it or leave it. So, dating as a single mama is not for the weak. It's a whole different ball game when you've got children because honestly, dating out again, after heartbreak or divorce means starting over, embracing change, being brave enough to open your heart when you've been hurt before, and not just about us. Again, it's not just about us. It's about setting healthy boundaries, protecting our peace, and being intentional about who we let in our lives and in our kids' life. Let me start with the big one, which is starting over. After you've been through a separation, a divorce, a heartbreak, a bad breakup, the thought of dating again can feel like somebody asking you to run a marathon barefoot on gravel. So imagine that. It feels overwhelming and scary. And honestly, sometimes you don't even want to think about it. I know sometimes it's just as much as I would like to meet my person, go out dating out, like out, put myself out there again and all of that. It is very scary. Again, like I said, I don't even know if I will know how to act on a date. That's crazy, right? A 40 something year old woman, 47. I just turned 47-year old woman acting like a little girl because I wouldn't even know how to react. But I've had those days where I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm fine being single. I don't need the headache. And part of that was because I was still raw from hurt, battling depression. And you might know that numbness I'm talking about, the one that where your heart feels locked up, like you can't even picture letting someone in again. I struggle many times with that numbness and feeling like if I, doubting if I ever will feel love again or feel loved again. It's a battle. But here's what I had to realize. Starting over doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means choosing not to stay stuck there. It means saying, yes, I've been hurt. Yes, I've been through some things, but I'm not going to let that pain define the rest of my story and not letting those doubts that creep in like, am I really ready for this? Or will anyone love me and my child the way we deserve? What if I choose wrong again and put myself back in the same mess, right? Like starting over, back to square one, right? Those are questions and struggles and questions that go through my head. Probably goes through your head too. Those questions are real. Trust me. They go through my head. They still do from time to time. But I also have to flip it around and ask myself, what if I never even try? What if I let fear keep me from experiencing the love I actually deserve? Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to grow old alone. I want my person, the one I can laugh with, cry with, be goofy, the goofy Yara, the funny Yara, just be me, the one who sees all of me and still says, yeah, she's it. And let's clear something up. Not all men are the same, just like not all women are the same. There are good men out there, men who know what commitment is, who value family, who aren't just looking for a situationship, but we won't find them if we shut down our hearts completely. Starting over also means taking your time. It's about not rushing back into to the dating game like you are at 21 again. No, mijita, no, we wish you, pero no, not the case, chasing every happy hour invite. No, mija, we're not there anymore. Hello, this time it's about moving with wisdom, knowing your worth, knowing your boundaries, and also remembering, following your gut. Remember, and remember, you're not the same woman you were back then. You've grown, you've survived, you've got, a whole new set of eyes now. You've lived and gone through things. You have different desires, different wants, different needs, different dreams, goals, and you are a mama right now. It's totally different now, now than back then. So if you're in that place where the idea of dating again makes your stomach like drop, hear me when I say it's okay to be scared, but don't let the fear be louder than your hope. Because at the end of the day, starting over, it's about finding somebody tomorrow. It's about reminding yourself that you can, that love is still possible, absolutely. That your story didn't end with that heartbreak, with that divorce, with that separation. It's just getting started. Like we're just getting started right now. We're very good looking, so we're just getting started. Oh my God, just having fun over here. But anyways, so once you decide, all right, maybe I'm open to starting over. The next step is embracing the changes that come with that decision. Because if we step into dating again the same way we did before, I mean, with the same mindset and the same patterns and the same expectations, we're just setting ourselves up for a repeat. Like it wouldn't want that, right? And I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to go there through the same heartbreak, the same situation ship twice. One season of that was way more than enough for me. Like at least for me, like I'm talking for me. But here's the hard part. Embracing change also means looking in the mirror. Like, ouch, yeah, looking at yourself in the mirror. That hurts. That can really hurt sometimes. So much easier to point the finger at what they did wrong. And yes, some of these men did us dirty. Let's not sugarcoat it. But if we're being honest with ourselves, sometimes we also stay longer than we should have. Sometimes we ignore red flags. Sometimes we didn't speak up for what we really needed. And sometimes, if we're being super, super duper real, like real, we might have allowed or said or done things that didn't help the situation either. Let's just be real and be honest. That's a tough pill to swallow right there. But it's also where we grow, where the growth lives and happens. Because if we can own our part, if it is 10% of the whole mess, 25% of the whole mess, or 50% of the whole mess, it means we can change it. Amiha, change is power. Think about it like this, like heartbreak is like a storm that wrecks everything in its path. And when the storm is over, you've got two choices. You either stand there in the wreckage crying about what used to be, or pick up the pieces, rebuild smarter and stronger than before, and just keep it moving. Right, one of those two. Like, which one is it gonna be? You either stand there in the wreckage feeling petty, or you pick up the pieces and keep it moving. That's what embracing change looks like. It's choosing to rebuild in a way that honors who you are now, unless you want to stay in the petty train and stay in the wreckage. I know I don't want to stay there. After, listen, if I'm not talking about reinventing yourself like you're some brand new person, I'm talking about peeling back the layers and getting back to who you are and After a breakup, some women go straight to the salon. Sometimes that's what happened, right? So we know that a new cut, new hair, new color, maybe a little extra sass here and there, because there's something powerful about looking in the mirror and say, "Oh, there she is," you know, that very good looking thing. There she is. And that's what change can feel like in your soul, to start remembering your worth, to start remembering what you bring to the table, your value, just stop apologizing for being too much or not being enough. You get to say, this is me, take it or leave it. That's it. And this is so real because that's where my mindset is at right now. I don't have time for bullshit. I just turned 47, like I said before. When I come to realize I'm already in my 50s, I know I don't have time to waste. Like, don't waste my freaking time. I don't want to waste anyone else's time either. It goes both ways. But that's where my mind is at right now. At this time and age, where I'm at the point that and in the season that I'm in, I'm just ready. Again, it's scary, but I'm ready. Embracing change also means learning from the past. If that last relationship left you drained, then maybe this time you need to set better boundaries. I truly felt on that like big time. If you felt unseen, maybe this time you make it clear from the jump. Communication and respect are non-negotiable. If you lost yourself, in the relationship, maybe this time you promise yourself you'll never shrink, you know, you'll never shrink yourself just to keep a man. No, because let's be honest, some of us, allowed things we never should have allowed. And part of this next chapter is saying not anymore. We're not repeating cycles, we are breaking them. That's it. And let me just say this, change doesn't mean becoming cold or bitter either. I've seen women out here like, man ain't nothing. I don't need nobody. Men are dogs. While I get where the energy comes from, because we all felt that at some point because of the discouragement and the heartbreak and what we've gone through, with whoever we were back before. Don't let that wall block you from the right one. Boundaries, yes, walls, no, because walls keep love out, and we don't want that. Boundaries are like a fence. You can see through them. You can open the gate, for the right person, but they keep the mess out. Like, yeah, come in, but leave the mess over there. And that is a sweet spot right there, where they can see through, they can open the gate, and they can come right in, but leave the mess out. You feel me? So here's the truth about embracing change. It's uncomfortable. Yeah, it will stretch you. Yes, it might even make you mad at yourself or the world sometimes. Reality, honest truth, but it's also your opportunity to step into the woman you've grown into, the wiser, stronger, healed version, badass version of you who knows better and does better, right? Because when you embrace change, you stop dating from a place of fear or loneliness, and you start dating from a place of clarity and strength. And that right there, that's, what makes all the difference. Now, once you're in that place, you're open to starting over, you embrace the changes, then you got to talk about to protect your peace moving forward. That's the boundaries, setting boundaries. That's where the boundaries come in. You start over, you embrace the change, then you start working on the boundaries. You got to do that. I got a lot to say about that, setting boundaries, because this is what's gonna make or break your peace in the dating world. Because if change is about who you are becoming, boundaries are about what you are no longer tolerating. Boundaries are not about being difficult or cold. Boundaries are about self-respect, They are about teaching people how to treat you. And here's the thing, if you set your standards from the jump, people will assume they can do whatever they want with you if you don't do it like from the beginning. And nine out of times, people will test you. People will test you. Repeat, people will test you. Not because they're always bad people, but because that's a human nature. That's just normal. So setting boundaries early on isn't you being extra. It's just saying this is what I need in order to feel safe and valued. Period. If someone really loves you and respects you, they will respect that boundary. If they don't, then that's not the right person to be, to be with, or a person to have around. That just, it is what it is. Let's clear this up. Boundaries are not walls, right? Like I said before, a wall keeps everybody out, including the good ones. But a boundary, it's like a fence. Again, like I said before, this is my yard. You can come in if you're respectful, but if you're not, the gate is staying locked. That's it. And we got to protect our yard because the last thing we need is bad grass. Or worse, we don't want weeds creeping it in and choking out the good grass we worked so hard to grow. We watered it, we nurtured it, we're not about to let any toxic come in and destroy that. Not happening. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for needing alone time or mama, me time. If a man can respect that you've got kids, work, business, a life, he's not your person. Communication, that's huge. Not everything has to be answered at the drop of a text. There's no microwave relationship. We're building something here. We're setting things here. If it's blowing your phone while you're busy or demanding late night talks when you're half asleep, that's not healthy communication. That's control. And I know that one firsthand from my son's father because when he wanted to talk, and we had to talk right then, whether I was ready or not, whether I wanted or not, whether I was half asleep or fully awake. And that often led to conversations that went nowhere but toxic. So now I know better. I set, the when just as much as the how when it comes to communicating. And again, this goes both ways. Parenting boundaries, that's another big one. It's huge. Don't let anybody like overstep when it comes to your kids until trust is built, until you've decided, this person has earned that role. Your kids are your lane. That's a non-negotiable period. Let's be honest, sometimes men hear boundaries, the word boundaries, and start acting like you just curse them out. Like, sir, no, me asking you not to FaceTime me at 2 a.m. is not being too much. It's me protecting my sleep, my peace, my rest, my care routine. You know what I mean? Hello. The truth is that boundaries keep you from losing yourself because how many of us have been in a relationship where we gave and gave and gave and gave until there was nothing else to give, until there was nothing left of us. So boundaries make sure that doesn't happen again. We don't want that. Remember, we are breaking cycles. And here's the kicker. If someone gets upset about your boundaries, that's your red flag right there. Very red and very big, like just flopping right in your face. It's a healthy partner will respect your limits. They'll see your boundaries as clarity and not a burden. Set those boundaries early. Make them clear. Stick to them. Because once you waver, it's a wrap. Again, people will always test you. Boundaries aren't about pushing love away. They're about making space, for the right kind of love. And once those boundaries are in place, the next big question is how do we bring our children into the picture? That is the whole conversation by itself, and we're going there next. But before that, Let's take a quick pause for just a quick break and, go grab your water, give yourself a little stretch. Maybe text your homegirl that we're talking about dating tonight. Well, because she needs it too. She needs to hear it and do her a solid, and share this episode. So when we come back, we'll get into the kids part, because that's where things get real. So see you in a minute.
Thank you for watching Prospera TV Network. We hope you're enjoying the show. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
All right, mamas, welcome back. So we just talked about setting those boundaries. Now let's get into the part that I know makes a lot of us nervous, and that is the kids. Because dating as a single mama isn't just about us anymore. It's about them too. And somebody new into their world, that's a whole process by itself. So when it comes to introducing your children, the stakes feel higher because your kids have already lived through some of your pain. They've seen the heartbreak, they've seen you cry, they felt that shift in the house when things fell apart. So the thought of bringing somebody new in, or of letting them into your baby's world, that's not something to rush at all. And trust me, our kids notice everything. They're more protective of us than we realize. My son is a perfect example. He's already told me straight face, Mommy, when somebody new comes along, I need to have a conversation with him first. And he was not joking. He's really not joking. He's serious about it. I can see him now sitting across this poor man like, so why are you in tension with my mama? Like, meanwhile, I'm over here like, can we not scare him before the appetizers come? Like, hello. But you know what? As funny as it is, like I said before, it's also really sweet. It's also, because it shows me how much he cares. He doesn't want to see me hurt again. He feels like it's his job to protect me. And I think a lot of a lot of our kids feel the same, especially when they've been old enough, or they are old enough to witness our pain and gone through it and see the shifts and feeling the shifts, right? So when it comes to introducing our kids to this new person, we need to take our time, not rush into it. Not everybody you date deserve a spot at the dinner table. Like, hello, girl, your kids don't need to meet every situation ship you got. Like, okay, like wait until you feel confident, that this relationship has real potential, because before you bring them in, prepare them with a conversation before any introduction. Sit your kids down and have an age appropriate talk. Like, reassure them that you're still my number one priority. My love for you hasn't changed. It will not and never will. Let them ask their questions, because trust me, they will have questions. And making them part of the process help them feel safe and included. And when it's that time, choose the right setting. Like, keep it light. Don't make it like this thing like big heavy family meeting or anything like that, right? Pick a comfortable setting, have the conversation very casual, very laid back conversation, super simple. Take it slow. Don't expect instant bonding either. Let it happen naturally. Keep it casual. Like, give your kids space to warm up and don't pressure them to like the person right away. Sometimes kids need that time to process, and that is okay. And listen to their feedback. it's that's key right there. Listen to your kids. Pay attention to how they are feeling, if they are uncomfortable, if they like don't brush it off. Validate their emotions. Don't, you don't have to agree with everything they say, but let them know their voice, matters. Because at the end of the day, this new relationship doesn't just affect you, it affects them too. They aren't just coming into your life, they're also coming into your kids' life. And let me just warn you, kids are brutally honest, like no filter. You might think the first meeting went well until your child puts you, to the side, like, why he shoots like that, why he sounds like that, why he looks like that, and start making fun of the guy or the person, and you're sitting there like trying not to laugh, like, oh my God. So be prepared, because they will test this poor man or whatever partner you pick, in ways you never could. But all jokes aside, introducing your kids to someone new is sacred. It's not just about letting a partner meet your children. It's about allowing your children to feel safe in this transition, because their comfort, their happiness, their stability, that's got to come always first, always. So yes, date, have fun, open yourself to love, but when it comes to your kids, move slow, move wisely, and keep those conversations open. Because the goal isn't just to find love yourself, but to create a life where your children feel secure as well. And even with all that care and patience, this journey of dating again comes with its own roller coaster of emotions for you, for us. So as mamas, because you'll have to go through the coping, the readjusting, the emotions, and let's be honest, that transition, it comes with its own set of challenges. And I'm talking about the emotions that hit, the feeling of guilt, the like I am, thinking if you've been selfish wanting to love again, the fear, the what if I get hurt again, or worse, what if my kids get hurt? And then there's the excitement as well. So, like the butterflies in your stomach, which is great, but can also feel a little scary when you've been out of the game, the dating game for a while. Like me, I don't even know. Again, every time I say it, I just think about it and I see myself like, I don't even know how I will act on a date right now. All of that is normal. Dating again after being single for a long time is a whole roller coaster ride. You're up 1 minute, down the next, screaming the whole way, down again. But here's the thing, right? It's not about avoiding the ride. You don't let the bump scare you off. Just, you steady yourself, you adjust, and you just keep moving forward. How do we cope with all of that? Like, like how can we do that? Like for me, it's been a mix of things, right? Some days it's journaling, some days, just getting all those thoughts out of my head and writing them on paper or something like that. Other times it's just talking, talking it out, talking it out with my spiritual life coach, or with someone I trust, because bottling it just never works. Of course, prayer. That's been huge for me, always through my entire journey. There were so many moments I just sat with God and said, like, Lord, please show me the way. Like, guide me, give me direction. Praying for my dear future husband, praying for my person, praying for me as well, to prep me for him. You know what I mean? And it's just means giving yourself permission to just feel. It's one night, if one night you're excited and hopeful, and the next night you're scared and overthinking everything, that's normal. Both can exist. Healing doesn't have to be heavy all the time. And listen, like dating doesn't have to feel like a job interview either. Like, okay, let me grab a clipboard and have checklist ready over here. you know, Maybe just a mini checklist to start. But for real, it can be fun. It should be fun. Rediscover yourself, that part of you that loves to laugh, that likes to flirt, that just enjoy life because you're not just a mom, you're also a whole woman too, and you deserve joy. So yes, coping with the transition is real. There will be moments of guilt, of fear, like even second guessing yourself, and that's normal. But balance that with fun, like have fun as you add it. Fun is what keeps the process light and reminds you that dating is not supposed to drain you. It's supposed to add to your joy. The opposite, like feel joyful and the butterflies and all of that. And at the end of the day, that's what this whole conversation is about. Finding love without losing yourself and showing your kids that happiness after heartbreak is possible. So let's bring it all together. Let's bring it home, ladies. So we talked about starting over and embracing change and boundaries and introducing your kids and coping, transition, and all of that. And it's not always going to be pretty. Some days you'll feel brave and hopeful, like, I got this. And other days you might feel like so freaking scared and second guessing yourself, like shitting in your pants and all of that. Yes, that's normal too. That's just a part of the journey. But don't let fear keep you locked up or isolated because your story didn't end with heartbreak. It's still been written. Remember that. And here's the fun part. You get to decide what the next chapter looks like. You get to say, this time I'm setting boundaries. This time I'm protecting me, my peace. And if you can match my energy, you don't get to see a seat on the table, period. And let's not forget to laugh through this too, have fun because if you can laugh and at some of the wild stuff that happens in these dating streets and you end up crying instead, like be miserable. And trust me, my son's already made sure there will be some laughs with that conversation thing. Cause he be acting it out too, let me tell you. Between him playing FBI bodyguard and putting every man through a whole interview process, I know it's gonna be fun for me. So, but here's what I want to leave you with. Love is still possible. Joy is still possible. Partnership is still possible. Don't let the past trick you from into thinking your best days are behind you. They're not. Your heart can heal, your life can expand, and you can find love again on your terms. So, to every mama listening, hold your head high, protect your peace, and keep hope alive. Because at the end of the day, you're not just out here dating, you're showing your kids what strength looks like, what growth looks like, and what it means to keep moving forward with courage. You ready? So, as always, stay grounded, stay fierce, and let's keep making those badass mama moves. See you in the next one.
This is your Prospera era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.